I don't know why I just want to argue with Ariel every time I get on.
What's the topic of argument today?
I don't know. She just brings that cat energy. And I don't, do you have a cat on your lap right now? I see that cat. Yeah. Honestly, I'm gonna have to unfollow you on Instagram if you keep posting wildly inappropriate stuff on there.
I don't know.
What are you posting, Ariel?
Oh, yesterday?
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I like scroll through. I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, who did I hire? What? It just throw it. She'll say anything.
I had a mammogram yesterday and I mentioned that, but the part that is like maybe inappropriate, I don't think it's inappropriate, is that the mammogram tech is like my best friend from childhood. And she is like, she opens the like exam room door and she calls my name. And as I start walking in, she said very loudly, so like everybody in the exam room could hear, is like, it's been, what did she say exactly? Something about how the last time she saw my boobs was during a game of Truth or Dare, like 20 years ago.
Yeah. I like how you did the PG version of what you actually said on Instagram.
This is work.
Thank you for keeping it work appropriate, Ariel.
Yeah.
I
welcome.
appreciate that.
Not on Instagram though. So I'm just like, man, I don't think I can follow her if she can't keep it under control. You know, I can hear an echo from somebody, and I think it's Ariel.
Ariel's not wearing headphones.
Okay, well, hold on. I can put headphones on.
Ariel, it's like
we were all wearing headphones today.
Well, we have to. Michael forced us to.
Oh my god, my cat ran away with my AirPod, my earbud.
Yeah, well, if it had a soul, it wouldn't do that. You know.
I know the name of this episode.
I think we should do an episode where we're all eating food during it, and listeners have to guess what we're eating. Exactly.
That is horrific.
And my kid is sleeping. I'm hoping he wakes up, but then I don't want him to wake up. So
What?
We'll see.
Like that he wakes up at some point, or
Well, we have a babysitter here. So I'm kind of hoping he wakes up so he can go, so he's not a problem. But then I want him to get sleep because he's a baby. So I'm torn.
I see.
You have a nanny?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Tuesdays. That's the Southern coming out in
It slips out. I think he like holds it in and then it comes out every once in a while.
Yeah. Does it come out more when he drinks?
Probably, but I've also been drinking while he's drinking
Okay.
and I don't notice it. So
I'll monitor it.
yeah, you'll have to let us know.
Okay.
I've known people who, like, the closer you get to their like hometown, if they're from the South, like if you're driving with them, it just like starts to come out. It's like a magnetic pull or something.
You have like a Missouri accent, don't you, Aaron? Sort of?
Probably, yeah. I don't hear
all
it
the time, but I feel like I hear it sometimes.
No,
I
Michael?
think like your old cat lady vibes cover it up sometimes.
I hear your accent constantly. You have like a predominant Midwestern accent.
What words is it on though? Like what? Where would it come out?
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, gosh, I don't have that like at my disposal.
One of the things that like St. Louisans especially are known for saying is "warsh," or like we have a Highway 44 and it's farty far.
I kind of hate the fact that it's St. Louisans. Like it feels
Yeah.
like there should be something better than that, right?
Yeah. Maybe they don't deserve better than that though, if you really think about it.
Okay, fair point.
Yeah.
I'm not going to comment on that. I'll leave that for Ariel.
Ariel tried to claim the status as the highest STD rate in the country, and it wasn't even true. she wanted it.
No, it's been true in the past.
Yo, they get down in St. Louis.
That's what I'm never going there. I refuse to go to that place. After everything I've heard.
I think we have the highest murder rate too.
I wonder, what the crossover is between like the STD transfer and the murders that occur. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good question. To do some research. We've got some great
That'll be
universities here that can do some academic studies.
No, I think that'll be our next article. I think what we should have your job be is like you could be like a beat writer for the worst things about St. Louis. And we'll just have like a whole like section on the website dedicated to that.
But I love St. Louis. Like it would all be the things that I love, I guess, probably better than the worst things. Yeah.
I was about to say something, but I don't think I could say that to an employee. So
have you heard about our pizza in St. Louis? Michael, have you tried it when you've been here before? St. Louis style pizza?
What is that?
It's like a
Like-
super thin crust pizza. Emo's is the most famous one. And like people who don't like it say that it's just like a saltine. Like it's a saltine crust. And then it's like kind of a sweet tomato sauce. And then Provel cheese on top, which is like a smoky cheese.
Oh, I could see myself liking this.
I like
I
thin
mean,
crust.
it's good. It's thinner than most thin crust pizza though.
Thin
Has
crust is the move.
I think
Mhm.
so. Has Dave Portnoy reviewed this place?
That's actually really good.
That's a good question, isn't it?
Yeah.
What was the place called?
She doesn't know who he is.
Emo's.
Emos.
The
Dave
square
Portnoy.
beyond compare.
Yeah, I think once Ariel really digs into Dave Portnoy and his history, I think she's really going to come to appreciate him.
Barstool
I can't
pizza
wait
review.
to see.
Dude, he has reviewed it. Okay, what was the score though? What do you think the score was, Robert?
Let's share your screen and let's watch it together.
Okay,
I don't know what the scoring system is.
I don't. Yeah, you got to tell
it's
us.
1 to 10. Yeah, so it's 1 to 10. If it's decent though, he has like different scores for different styles of pizza. So if it's a bar style, he usually scores it lower in like the 6s and 7s. But if it's like a brick oven New York style pizza, he usually puts it up in the 8s if it's good. So it makes no sense the way he does it, but he's also kind of a ridiculous person.
Okay, pizza review time. I think a smirk just leaked.
Hold on. Is it a frozen pizza? Is this the right thing, Ariel?
I mean, this is Emo's Pizza. They do make a frozen pizza, but it's like a pizza place that you can do delivery and pick up
That's
from.
because we got emos. These sons of bitches from St. Louis. And why I'm smirking, because when the Bruins played the Stanley Cup against St. Louis, I went emos, their most famous pizza place. And obviously, I got assaulted in St. Louis. And then the Blues won the Stanley Cup. So St. Louis got the best of me. That's fine. But emos, the pizza, they're good people. They're super nice. But they got this Provel cheese in it. And that's like St. Louis style. I'm curious if it's going to be in here. Well, it is. It says Provel.
What kind of cheese is
The
that?
best way to describe that is it's like goop. It's like cheese.
Yes, that's it. It's like a cheese flavored product than like more cheese flavored product than cheese.
Oh,
Oh my god, this just went so far down on my list.
yeah.
No.
I went from excited to almost completely uninterested.
That sounded like I thought he was just being a jerk, but that sounds like a fantastic explanation. Of what
No,
this is.
it's really true.
But yeah, these assholes send me some pizza. And I mean assholes in like the most kindly of way. They're super nice, but when I think
See, he's a great guy, Ariel.
We're gonna be best friends.
Okay, all right. I don't care
I
about
can see it's like hiding underneath it, like lava. Being like, oh, don't look at
Yes,
me.
it is lava.
Okay, let's get to the good part.
Provel. It has that Provel taste.
Oh, he's got it cut wrong though. It's supposed to be cut in squares.
Who would order this frozen pizza have to be transplanted to St. Louis, or I guess locked in St. Louis?
That looks not very good.
Because you have to
I
be
like
from
Sa-
St. Louis to
I like
it.
St. Louisans.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just starting to kick in now.
I'm really interested in his take.
Yeah, it's a St. Louis authentic original, and it's it's kind of gross if you ask me. But that's what they like. So you put Provel in there, you're gonna get St. Louis pizza, and you're gonna puke a little bit in your mouth. But I do like the people, and I get it. If you're from St. Louis, you grew up on it, you like it. For me, it's like a 2-2.
Oh, that's low. Oh god. Okay, that's the lowest score. Okay, that is the lowest score I have ever seen him give.
I mean, it's not for everyone. I'll admit that.
It's lowest by about 4 or 5 points. Like it's a 1 to 10 scale, so that's pretty bad.
What about toasted
You didn't-
ravioli? Have you heard about toasted ravioli?
Like
It's like-
the food.
Oh my god, it's a ravioli. This is another St. Louis delicacy. Ravioli, meat filled. You can get it cheese filled, but there's meat filled, and then they deep fry it, and then you dip it in marinara sauce.
Okay, I'm into that.
Yes.
Does it have
Don't tell
goop?
me any more about it because the more I learned about the pizza, the less I liked it.
Yeah, seriously. She's like, yeah, it's actually just made out of like fake ravioli.
They actually make it with roadkill meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what we do in St. Louis. Yeah.
Oh my god, that pizza sounds disgusting. Okay, so I mean, I'm never coming to that place that you live. It just sounds
I know.
worse and worse every time we talk about it. But if I ever do, I'll try it.
You have to get one of the salads too. Emo's salads. It's iceberg lettuce topped with Provel cheese. like not melted, but
I'm not.
it's like ropey on
Do they
top
have like
of it.
family who run the Provel factory or something? Like, why is that incorporated so heavily?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think there's other St. Louis style pizza places that use it too, but yeah, maybe Emo's has like they own it.
There's just something that is so disgusting about a cheese-like product.
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about American cheese?
Ooh.
It's okay. I mean, I like it. It is a cheese-like product, but like I feel like that's the only cheese-like product that I can tolerate.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
the canned cheese. What's that called?
Cheese
Whiz?
whiz? Cheese whiz? No.
Weird,
Can't-
man.
Mhm.
What about Velveeta?
Oh, see, you
I don't
got me on
like
Velveeta.
Velveeta.
I
Some
kinda like
Rotel dip?
Velveeta.
Like, yeah,
No.
Velveeta and like a can of chili or something melted together.
I might be
yeah.
doing a complete 180 on this topic.
Yeah.
I do love some Rotel.
All right. Well, are we talking about anything real today, or are we just talking about Ariel's terrible city that she lives in?
All right, guys. So the questionable decision for this week. Me and Ariel found this article on CNBC about a 28-year-old guy who works at Meta, and he bought a 12-year lease on a cruise ship. So basically, it's this gigantic cruise ship, and they are selling apartments on it. And I don't think it's a situation where you own the apartment, but you can buy like a long-term lease on it. And so this guy spent $300,000 on a 12-year lease on this cruise ship. So I did the math. That comes out to just over $2,000 a month. And this thing is basically going to circumnavigate the world like once every 3 years. So essentially, it's a way to, I think the phrasing they use is like experience the world from the comfort of home. So essentially, you get to live in your apartment that you would live in full time. But when you dock in a city, wherever it's at in the world, they'll stay there 3 to 5 days. You can explore. That's basically how it works. Couple other things to note about this. The apartment is small. It's a studio apartment, 237 square feet. But you can rent it out when you are not on board. So if you want it to be, on the land for a significant period of time, you could rent it out. Yeah, but it's not supposed to set sail until 2025. So how do we feel about this decision? Is it a good decision? Is it a questionable decision? There's some other details that might work their way into this conversation, but that's the big picture.
Ariel, get rid of that cat. I don't want to see that cat on this podcast ever again. I do have some questions about this. Sorry.
Okay.
I do have some questions about this. So, like, is he single? And does he have kids? Is it a single dude? Like, what's going on here?
Interesting question. So
He's an engineer at Meta. He's single.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't want to assume. I didn't want to judge.
Ouch. Yes, he is single. However, there are people who will be living on this ship who are married and who do have children. The guy who's sort of in charge of this whole project, or somebody who's sort of high up, is going to be living on the ship with his wife and 2 kids who are currently 2 and 5 years old.
But I'm guessing he's got a better place to stay. If I'm guessing,
I would hope.
Okay, so I would do it. Like, if I was single and I was an engineer at Meta, and it was the choice. Where's Meta located? Is it San Francisco?
I would assume
in the Bay Area.
Yeah. If it was a choice between like living there or even like living remote, just normally living, I would do it. It sounds like a pretty cool thing. I don't know. That's like one of my regrets is like I've maybe not a big regret, but like I've worked online forever and I've never done like the digital nomad thing for any period of time. So I'd like to do it. I just, now I have a kid, so it's a little bit harder to do that, I think.
A little harder.
It sounds amazing. I would do it in a heartbeat, even with kids.
Yeah, it sounds great, actually.
Yeah, totally.
Even with kids.
Yeah,
257 square foot, like that place. Though.
I would have a larger cabin, I guess they call it.
She'd get the larger cabin,
like the
luxurious
500 square foot one. No, I just feel like what a great way to like show your kids the world and to show them that there are different ways to work and live. And I mean, that sounds awesome. I don't know. I mean, school would be an issue. Do they have a school on board? Do we know that?
Well, they do have a school on board.
Really?
There you go. So they're prepped for
Huh.
it.
They are prepared.
Okay. That's cool.
How about this, Ariel? How about you go be the teacher at that school?
No. I would no.
You don't want to work. You just want a life of luxury.
No, I would. I mean, I would work at this job that I'm working at right now aboard a
Oh,
cruise
would you?
ship, but I would not be a
Oh.
teacher of the kids on the cruise ship.
Okay.
Okay, so that was actually an interesting thing that I noticed in the article is that he still planned on working like US West Coast hours, like even when they're in Europe, right? So that means he could be working like 7 p.m. to like 2 or 3 a.m.
It's a little rough.
That's where that would get a little dicey for me, I think.
I'm sure a lot of their workflows kind of asynchronistic too, though. But yeah, that's how much did he pay again?
300,000
$300,000.
It's like $2,000 a month.
12-year lease. Yeah.
12-year lease.
Did he? I mean, okay, so it's 12-year lease. I wonder if he had to pay anything up front for it. I don't know. I think if you're single and you just want to see the world, I think it's fine. I do have this theory that remote travel, full remote nomad kind of travel isn't really that much fun, because almost every person I've ever talked to that does it is either struggles with like feeling alone or depressed, or like there's some like really serious things that they go through as they try to live that lifestyle. And I don't think it's quite as glamorous as you would think it is.
Yeah, I think I think if you go into it with the right expectations, it depends on where you're at in life, for sure. But would I do it? Absolutely. Would it be a ton of fun? Absolutely. But for the 12-year thing's what gets me.
It's a long time.
I think if you expected to do it for a year or maybe 2 years, but you can't live without community or some kind of physical place for a decade.
But wouldn't
So,
the cruise
yeah,
ship
if I-
be the community? Like, wouldn't that be your physical place, and the people that you meet aboard become your little social network that you see?
You're not wrong.
That brings up
Not wrong.
another aspect of it. And this is actually what
Onion. This is an onion.
Yeah, this is what I would potentially have a hesitation about, is that it's going to be roughly 1,000 people on board at any given time. So I think it's 500 like apartment units, 1,000 people on board.
Is it crazy that doesn't seem like that many people to me?
It doesn't. And that's the thing, is that you would basically be like out at sea with this tiny, tiny town of small people. So I think there's an aspect of it that could be cool, but then there's also the aspect of like, that's a small crowd. What if you don't
Mhm.
like
if you're-
them? It
If
could
you're
get weird.
docking for like 5-7 days at a time, though, I mean, there's enough space to stretch your legs, pretty regularly. You can't be at sea for too many long stretches. There's not that much sea.
Well, I think there's
You
a
got to
lot
hit
of
land
it.
somewhere.
I feel like there's a lot of sea, but
There's
you know.
there's a decent amount, I've heard.
Yeah, that's tough. Because like, what if you get stuck next to a crappy neighbor on either side of you?
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that. Like they
Mhm.
also you're not bought, but they leased for 12 years, and then you're stuck, and then you've got something that you hate.
But isn't that
you know?
the same as like if you bought a house next to a crappy neighbor? I mean, you're signing into a 30-year mortgage with that.
Yeah, but like sharing a wall, it depends. I mean, it depends on where you live. But like, if my neighbor does something that I don't like I don't share a wall with him.
Yeah. And also
Robert's got more information.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've
there's
got
the-
some. I
okay.
got some. I told you more information would come out as we.
I
talk
like this.
more
I like
about
this kind of like
Uh-huh.
unveiling it as we go. It's
Uh-huh.
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love to hear everyone's opinions at different layers, right? So the other thing to keep in mind is that a 12-year lease sounds like a long time to sign a lease, right?
Yeah.
Not for this ship. So that's actually like the shortest term they offer. So from this point on, or at least from what I saw, I could be wrong about this, but the leases are even longer than that. So think about, they do lifetime leases as well. So to your point, Bobby,
How much does that cost?
if you probably a lot. So think about like if you have
Didn't research that far, did you, Robert?
Yeah.
just probably a lot is the technical information I have.
I feel like it would depend on your age too, Like
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, think about though, like if you have a 12-year lease, your neighbor sucks, but they have a lifetime lease. Who's going to get preference when you go to the The mayor of the cruise ship.
The mayor of the cruise
That's a
ship.
good point. No, I think Lifetime's crazy or semi-crazy.
Yes.
I wouldn't do something like that because you have no idea. It depends on like what it looks like to actually get out of these lease terms, but like,
But I'm not so sure. But also, if he says you can rent it, I mean, this is just an investment prop. This could be used as just an investment property. You jump on the ship when you want, you cruise around, you go somewhere else. And if you're spending this much money, you have the ability to have multiple homes. So I think that's the interesting thing. I doubt most people are going to live on this ship solely for 12 years or for their lifetime. And in that sense, if you pay $300,000 for a beach house, why not pay for an admittedly small condo that's just traveling the world? That sounds pretty alluring.
this all sounds like something that's not going to work long term. I don't know why. Like, it just has like the vibes of something that's going to be a project that just doesn't ever really.
I'm not sure. I would say I would agree if this was an industry, and maybe they're trying to start an industry, but 1,000 people, again, that does not seem like that many. That's like the average high school gymnasium worth of people. I feel like if you're that committed, that small group, that, a smaller group could be sustainable.
See, but also think about cults. Cults are typically small groups as well. It's like, I think this.
I would love if this was like a cruise cult. Like that is what this turns into.
The cult buys all of the property, and then that's just. Can you imagine if you're like the captain of the ship, and the cult just buys up all the rooms, and you're traveling with them?
So I guess my point is that I feel like smaller communities like that, like I get your point, Bobby, of like having a weird feeling about it. I think that's my point, is that like typically when you see stories about like smaller communities who are all bought into this vision, a lot of times it goes up in flames.
Yeah, I saw something very similar to this. That was it's a concept, but they're trying to do the same thing with like an air. It would be like a blimp, basically, but like a blimp city kind of thing. But they're trying to do like a very similar setup, and it just sounds like one of those things that's like, I mean, the cruise ship is obviously like way more viable, but it just seems like one of those things that's like novel, like a very cool novel idea that's like not going to really be that popular. Or might be popular for a little bit, and then people are like, this kind of sucks. Like, what if the cruise ship breaks down all the time and like it's stuck in some crappy
I mean,
dock?
it's a boat. It will break down constantly.
Yeah. So what happens when you're stuck in like, I don't know, some country way far away from anything scenic, and you're just in a dock forever,
Did I miss it? How
Michael
is
wants to
this
talk
a
about the
pure
blimp.
start? Yeah,
I do want to come back to the blimp.
Is this a startup that's just getting outside funding, or is this an established company that's doing this as a venture?
I do not have that information.
I can see a little bit of fear if it's some startup that's just trying to get something off the ground that it's unproven, it could not work. But I imagine if they're operating cruise ships, I'd hope that they know what they were doing. But I would say, Bobby, going back to your blimp comment, using the logic of a blimp in the sky community.
No, I know. I know. It was like and it wasn't like I'll find it and I'll share it with everyone. It was a commercial that I saw, and it was like, it actually seemed like a pretty cool concept, but it was very far in the future. Like, it seemed like something that was not coming anytime soon, but it also just seemed like one of those things that's like, I don't know, people that live on boats or people that do that stuff, like, it's way more of a hassle than it seems like it would be. And it's like, well, are these cruise cabins like made for people to truly live in? Because that's one of the big issues that happens a lot of times with like RVs and boats and things like that. Like, the stuff inside of them sucks, and then people buy these boats and live in them, and then it's like garbage, and then it breaks all the time.
Well, here would be my biggest concern, because I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be cool to travel the world that way. But if you're starting out and this thing sets sail and you've got 1,000 people and you're all getting on the boat the same day, right? Does this turn into like the Villages? Or is this just like a total, a party? Is this a frat party? Is this, people are sharing 250-foot apartments night to night? Like, the culture could be defined in a number of bad ways really quickly to make it, if you think that any small group, high school or a retirement community or anything, can have negative clicks, I feel like the culture of it could go down pretty quickly depending on what people are trying to get out of it.
That's my point about the cults.
Yeah.
It could get weird real fast.
It could get weird real fast.
Are pirates a concern?
Yes, always.
Yeah, I think so. So like, is the ship Like, what is that movie? Captain Phillips? Is that the movie?
Mhm.
Like, does this ship have like the water cannon things? Do they have real guns to protect themselves? Like, what do they have?
Wow.
Because like, if all of your worldly possessions are in this like 250-foot thing, and then you've got 1,000 people crammed in there, like, it seems like a perfect place to steal a lot of stuff from people.
I feel like you'd have to have a pretty big pirate ship with like a pretty big crew of pirates to like take down a cruise ship.
Bobby,
right?
have you been on a cruise before?
I actually have not. My wife and I were just talking about this last night. My wife is like deathly motion sick. So like we did like a sailing class one time, and she actually went into she had hypothermia. That's how bad her motion sickness got, which I had never seen before, but her lips turned blue. It was
Oh my
really
gosh.
really bad. Yeah, so we probably won't ever go on a cruise, so I'll never be doing this.
I
So we
really
cannot.
I thought you were going to say she's deathly afraid of pirates.
Well,
Which would have been a much funnier statement.
No, I mean, I am, but I don't think that she is. She might not care as much. But I think the pirates thing, I think that that's like a legit concern. That would have to be a legit concern if you're
Yeah,
on a
I mean,
cruise ship.
I would
My
imagine, yeah.
my brother-in-law and sister-in-law who like live on a boat mostly full time. I mean, they have concerns about pirates, and they have like had friends who've encountered pirates and have had their possessions stolen. So it's like a real issue.
Yeah, I guess we should have. Knowing that about your brother-in-law and sister-in-law, like we should have started there. Like they live on a pretty small sailboat, is it?
Catamaran. Yeah.
It's a pretty
Oh,
decent
catamaran.
sized boat.
Yeah.
I don't mean small, but what I mean is just you're dealing with a limited amount of space.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people who make that work. Yeah, I don't know. I think
They're also going
I think-
on an around the world cruise for 4 months soon. So I feel like we could
Is
check
it
back
this?
in. I don't think it's this,
No.
but we could check back in on the,
Oh, you
see
should
how it
ask.
is. You know?
yeah. Here's where I think I'm landing on this. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't know that I'd want to be one of the first people to buy.
Yeah.
I'd want to go and tour it when everyone's there, check out the vibe, see what the people are like, and decide if I wanted to go and latch my pony to their wagon. Well, I don't know what the
But-
freaking saying.
Kind of works.
So, questionable decision? No.
I don't think so. I think it
No.
sounds
Not
cool.
necessarily.
Like, I think it sounds fun. I think there's a lot of potential issues, but it sounds pretty cool.
Agree. I think it's worth
Okay,
a try.
wow. I expected, because I feel like we started on a high note and then we talked about all the potential downsides, but it's still to everyone here, to you guys at least, I haven't revealed my opinion yet, but to you guys, it's not a questionable decision.
I think it's okay. Can you bring animals?
Oh,
I was just wondering
great
that.
question.
I hope not.
I would hope not, yeah.
Mhm.
Like cats? Just imagine how many cats.
Cats specifically.
Yeah, like 6,000 cats. Like they just get loose and it's just a cat boat.
6 cats to every human being on board.
That could happen.
That's a nightmare.
I mean, I like cats, but
someone's-
no, that would be a no for me too.
You know that someone that's spending $300,000 on a little sea condo is bringing a bird. There's going to be a bird
Hmm.
that annoys the out of people
Yeah.
on that boat.
Yeah.
Why do you say bird specifically?
People are weird.
You're thinking of a specific person, it
Mhm.
seems.
Yeah. What do you think, Robert?
I don't think it's a questionable decision. I think it's a good decision solely for the fact that, like, if you go on the first 3-month sort of tour and it sucks and you hate it, you can just rent it out for the rest of the 12 years. And also I did withhold one piece of information about the renting out part of it.
Uh-oh.
According to the company, they say that this unit that the guy would essentially pay like $2,000 a month for, according to their calculations, you could rent it out for like $4,500 per month.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'm sure that the retail of what you could offer would be more. So that's what I'm saying. If the model could just be proven for a couple years and you could kind of understand it's not a crazy place, at that point it's an investment property. And I think it's a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I like it.
Hmm.
Cool. Okay. Well, it seems that we're all in agreement. It is not a questionable decision.
We could relocate like the Millennial Money Man offices to the cruise
Oh,
ship.
dang. Bobby, we could buy a couple cabins in a row. Then you'll have bad neighbors.
That would be a questionable decision.
Yeah. No thanks. All right. Well, that's it. Thanks for listening to our podcast. Hopefully Ariel never brings a cat on again. We do have a number that you can text if you want to let us know what you think of that questionable. Well, I guess it wasn't questionable. We kind of decided it was not questionable. But if you have something that you, oh shit, I just.
As you were speaking,
I knew I was done.
You could see the crash happening.
I could see the commas in your in your words.
I got lost. I did the cat thing, and I thought that was funny, and then I got lost on what I was doing. So, all right.
I mean, I can get the cat again.
Jeez, Ariel, I was about to go. Ariel, how about let's Ariel, stop it. Ariel ruins everything. Okay. Well, thanks for listening to our little podcast. We have a number that you can text, and you can let us know what you think about the episode, or if you have any decisions that you want us to judge if they're questionable or not. You can give us a text at 321-222-0203. If you want to hear even more from us, you can join our email list. We've got a link down in the show notes, and we'll be back next week with another questionable decision. Talk soon.
Okay. Well,
all right.
great work, team.
Yeah. Good job, everybody.